Do you have that one friend who's tough to shop for? That challenge never seems to deter our friends at Bull Moose, who year after year always come up with a wacky gift guide.
No surprise, Mick, Pratt, and Wickard have outdone themselves this year. I talked with them to learn more. We are already knee-deep into the holidays, and we look to you for our wacky gift suggestions, and you always come through. Let's start off with our first suggestion, a 6-string samurai on 4K UHD. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea what that means.
Okay, well, so 4K UHD is a high definition audiovisual format. It's like the step above Blu-ray. So if you have like a 4K TV, this is how you're going to get the best sound, the clearest picture, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to need it for this late 90s trope-filled classic. It was aired a lot on Sci-Fi back in the day. So if you were watching Sci-Fi Channel in the early 2000s, you probably saw clips of this.
Okay. So
the conceit of the movie is it's post-apocalypse, 1960s America. President has just died. The president is Elvis, by the way. And so Buddy Holly is going to Las Vegas to become the new president and will also become Elvis. But of course, along the way, he is waylaid by his greatest nemesis, Death, and a bunch of Russian soldiers who don't have bullets in their guns. So it is a wild movie.
Up next, we have The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. What's that all about?
Yeah, so this is the dude you've got to read this book. But you ever watch those, all the horror movies, and there's one girl alive at the end, that they get the killer right before they get her. And you ever wonder what happens to her after the movie's over? Well, Grady Hendrix decided to write a book about the Final Girl Support Group. So, survived the most hellish night of her life, and now she's part of a support group for other final girls, and a girl goes missing. And so, you can just imagine what fun that is. And if you've watched a lot of the 80s and 90s and all the classic horror movies, the book pays homage to the chapter titles are named after them. And there's tons of Easter eggs. So it's fun if you haven't watched, Scream, Halloween,
right.
Nightmare on Elm Street. But if you've watched those and then you read the book, it's a total blast.
Next up, we have The Shags Own Thing. What's that all about?
Well, now, this is a gift for everybody. So everybody has that friend that's like, what kind of music do you like? And they're like, oh, I listen to everything. This is a call out for them. This is a challenge. The Shags are a outsider music group that Frank Zappa once described as one of his absolute favorites. So the legend goes that some parents were told by a palm reader that their daughters were going to be famous pop stars. So they decided, yeah, okay, definitely. Bought the girls instruments, booked time at a studio, didn't get lessons in between.
My pal's name is Football, so he always likes to know.
So they brought him into the studio and they recorded this album that is so interesting, but I would also describe it as very challenging. The girls definitely can play their instruments, but they're still sort of learning them at the same time that they're performing the songs. And it sometimes seems like maybe they're all playing at different syncopations or different tempos. I really, if you haven't listened to My Pal Foot, it is unforgettable. And I'm not making fun of them at all. Like, I think this is super interesting. It's a really, really cool exploration of like the limits of what music can be.
This one sounded great to me. Up next, Punderdrome, which is a board game.
This game came out of a father-daughter group who had fun with puns in the Brooklyn bar scene. It'll be no shock when you hear the game that it came out of the bar scene, but the idea is to challenge folks that there's a prompt and you have to have two unrelated things, cards that you draw, and make a pun with those based on the prompt. It is even harder than it seems.
And finally, for our wacky gift suggestions, glow cats. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so glow cats, it's the #1 gift every holiday season. This is actually true over the past 5 or 6 years now, 5 or 6 years running. Glow cats, #1 holiday item. I should have had one. So you could imagine in my hand here that I have like a miniaturized cat. It's about this big and it glows in the dark. What's not to love about that? Also comes in glow dogs for people that prefer dogs, but glow cats obviously the superior option.
And are those available? I mean, we're hearing about things are hard to get. Are you able to
They
get
are
glow
they
cats?
are certifiably available.
Good.
There are all kinds of supply chain issues that are affecting all kinds of stuff, but I tell you, we got plenty of shag records, plenty of final girl support groups, and more glow cats than you could shake a stick at.
We will include a link to the list of all their gift suggestions in the 207 section of our News Center Maine website and app.